Canadian nationhood.
We had a company chase in the afternoon, about 5 miles, great success. As soon as it was over, we had a swim. Sometimes I feel I'm not doing enough. I'm nearly 35 with very little or nothing done. I'm just as young as ever in some ways. But I suppose by just serving and waiting and even being killed, I can accomplish far more in the long run. Bobs has disappeared. The whole brigade is looking for him, but I fear the worst.
In October 1917, the Canadians, now the elite Allied Corps, are being pressured to join the bloody Battle of Passchendaele. Historian Frankie Boston is director of the Passchendaele Museum and familiar with every detail of the battle.
The battle has been raging on since the end of July. First the British have come in, then the Anzacs have come, and at this place here, Passchendaele, Australians and New Zealanders have ended here in middle October with thousands of casualties and have given it up to ever reach that ground here, the top of the Passchendaele Ridge.
This ridge has been our bugbear since 1914. It is from here that the first gas attacks came through because the Germans wanted it. We took it briefly, they retook it, now we want it again. It'll be the jumping off spot, perhaps, for final victory. So Haig asks for Currie. He asks for the Corps to do this battle. Currie is hesitant. He realizes that in this area, nothing but heavy casualties can be the result. He tries to avoid it. In fact, Haig says he's almost getting snippy. You know, what does he think he is, commanding a national army? Well, in fact, he is commanding a national army. These 4 divisions are the Canadian National Army, if you will, formed in Vimy Ridge.
What a trump. Spades.
General Currie, what do you think of Passchendaele?
Passchendaele. It's a name for a lot of mud and grief for a lot of crack-brained fools in London to play with. What do they care? They don't get killed or wounded or choked in the mud. And what's the good of it? Let the Germans have it. Rot in it, rot in the mud. There's a mistake somewhere. It must be a mistake. It's not worth a drop of blood.
But eventually, of course, he has to do this. Everybody in the Commonwealth will be attacking here. The best British divisions, the best Australian divisions, the best New Zealand divisions. There's only logical Canada is going to have to do its bit. And so he says, yes, we will.
Dearest Mother, it was very rainy and wet, but we managed to build an open fire and were jolly and happy. We had a church service and sang Nearer My God to Thee, just as we used to at Montebello.
When the men are arriving here, it is middle October. General Haig promised that after 3 weeks they would be on the top of the Passchendaele Ridge, and 3 months later they would be in Ostende, which is 60 kilometers from here. Instead of 3 weeks to Passchendaele, it took 3 months, and they hardly took the top of Passchendaele. So Passchendaele 1917 costed the British, the Anzacs and the Canadians 245,000 men killed, wounded and missing. They cannot attack in one close line, because there's a very marshy ground here. And the Germans are using that. And they have fortified these 2 heights with bunkers. And the bunkers are so well built in lines at an interval of approximately 50 to 100 meters that the machine gun fire can perfectly, 1 machine gun, 2, 3, it can all cover up each other. And they make a deadly line there around the height of Crest Farm and here alongside the Bellevue Spur.
11:30 p.m. the 29th of October, 1917. Major Talbot Papineau leads the Princess Patricia's Canadian Light Infantry to the front line at Passchendaele Ridge.
Dearest Mother, just a hurried line. By the time you receive it, I shall be all right. Or you shall have news to the contrary. Always know, if I do get killed, I was completely happy and content. And the only regret I have is due to the sorrow it will cause you. I have a sensible feeling, however, that it will be all right, and I will still be able to write you gallant tales. My dear B, we are engaged. We are lovers. I prize the little heart box and the ring and the elephant and silver heart. They're beautiful things, and I know they represent beautiful thoughts and feelings. I am on the eve of grave events and have only a short minute in which to write. Whatever happens, you must realize that I have thought of you and have been very happy and grateful for you, now and until the end.
Gentlemen, our objective is the German pillbox.
Before an attack like this, you try to show the men where they're going. You take them up. If you can, show everyone, we are here, you're going to go there. So the men have some idea what they're going into. Good officers, good sergeants talk their men through it.
Any questions?
No, sir.
Dearest Mother, after all, I've been able to write you again before going over. Everything is cheerful. I've even been able to shave in a little dirty water. There seems so little to say, when if only I knew what was to happen, I would want to say so much. These would be poor letters to have as last ones. But you must know with what a world of love they were written. Always remember that I could not love thee so well, or you love me, did I not love honor more. You've given me the courage and strength to go very happily and cheerfully into the good fight. Love to all, and a big hug for thee, my dear, brave little mother.
You know this is suicide.
Papineau himself, as a company commander, has only voice control. Once the shooting starts, you can't hear a thing, all right? And you're standing in the middle of 4 companies. You're not in the front because that's stupid, but you're somewhere close to the front, so you've got a platoon here, a platoon there, platoon there, platoon there. If you're lucky, the platoon commanders can hear you, but they really can't. The only thing they can see is you leading. This is why it's tough to be an infantry officer. You know, any idiot can say, men, go and get that machine gun nest. That's pretty easy to do. The hard thing is to show and lead by example.
Fix bayonets!
And he knew he was gonna die. But he was torn in between fighting with his friends and having this vision. I mean, he had had such good luck throughout the whole war. I guess he thought of himself like, not as untouchable, but I mean, if I've been lucky not to die this far, I mean, there's a greater vision for me.
A man of experience, a veteran, a person who's been in the battle before knows pretty well what the chances are. But of course, there's always that one thing we always believe in, you know, hope. Maybe this is my lucky day.